Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of We're the New Adults. I'm your boy TJ Williams, and I'm going to be your host for this podcast. I want to thank y'all for coming to look at my podcast, listen to my podcast. You can now listen to my podcast on Apple Music Podcast, or you can continue to listen to it and look at it on YouTube. But I just want to thank you guys for the outgoing support, and let's get right to this episode. So let me first off start by saying, y'all, I'm sorry that I have been out of the loop. Lord have mercy, I have not put out a video in a little minute, and that is because of a reason. I got my wisdom teeth pulled about a week and a half ago. If you know that pain, you know that pain, you know that pain, Lord have mercy. But here I am. I'm still not fully where I want to be, but I can talk. I can give y'all a little motivation. If you hear me stutter, if you hear me not really pronouncing words as I should, please bear with me. I'm still trying to get there. But yeah, so I just wanted to go ahead and say that. That's why I have not put out an episode. But here I am today with another episode, and I got a little treat for y'all. So I wanted to do something different. I have so many ideas for season 2 coming up and things that I want to do, but I want to go ahead and introduce something that I've been wanting to do. And when I first put out the podcast, I said that I was going to end up doing trends, topics, and thoughts. And so today we're going to do trends, and the name of this segment is going to be Trending Topics with TJ. Yes, I know, y'all love it. I know, I love it. So, yes, so this segment is going to be us basically discussing maybe 1 to 2 topics that are going on in our new adult world. And I'm going to basically show y'all a clip, what's going on, and I'm going to give my point of view and my opinion on it. So, let's get right into it. DDG, he made a comment on his podcast. It was basically a statement about 9-to-5 workers and how 9-to-5 workers should use that 9-to-5 job to level up and boss up for their, whether it's their business, their entrepreneurship, but they should not stay at that 9-to-5. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the clip, and there have been people reacting to it. So we're gonna look at DDG's clip, and we're gonna look at what somebody had to say about it. So let's get into it.
A 9 to 5 should only be used to fund your own business. Like, I don't think nobody should ever get a job and say, I'm gonna be the 10-year best employee of the year. Like, nobody should ever think that, because
when people say stuff like this, the number one thing that pops up in my mind, if everybody is a business owner, who is working at the establishment? Who are the employees? I know it's hard for some people to believe, but there are actual people out here who are okay working a little 9-to-5, getting their check and going to the crib. They don't want all that extra responsibility. They just want to get their bread and go on about their day. And then people talk about a 9-to-5 like it's just disgusting. There are people out here that work a 9-to-5 that make more than some businesses. If we gonna keep it a bean.
This man is responding to a clip off of my podcast, No Ordinary Podcast, man. Y'all go check it out. And I said that I feel like people should use 9-to-5s in order to become their own boss. This comment was for people that aspire to be an entrepreneur, to own their own business, make their own hours. And he also said in the video that if everyone's a boss, who's an employee? In this life, there's levels. I feel like people should start off on a 9-to-5 and level up and become a boss. And it's always going to be people a level below you that becomes the workers. So there always will be people working, but I feel like no one should be working at a job for 10 plus years if you want to see more in life. It's just motivation. Don't take it so serious.
Okay, y'all, so that was the clip. So that was a clip of DDG, and there was a clip of a TikToker basically giving his opinion on DDG's statement. And so I definitely want to say that we are in the generation now that putting yourself out there is a risk, and a risk in so many different ways, but a risk of having so many different opinions coming at you at one time, and that's a risk that you sign up for with putting yourself out there. But I must say that you have to be very careful about how you say certain things. Leaving out one word could misconstrue a whole sentence, a whole phrase, and have people thinking that what you said meant something different. So I will say, as far as DDG's comment, how he worded it, I feel like the TikToker had every right to respond the way he did, because the way DDG put it originally was like, you should only work a 9-to-5 to get to a higher level, and you shouldn't be working that job for 10 plus years. And I don't agree with that. Like I said, I'm basing it off how he worded it on the clip and why the TikToker reacted the way he did. That's kind of a dig, like the TikToker said, to people who only want to work a 9-to-5 and do want to build up and work their way up in the company and don't want all the extra responsibilities. So the way the TikToker responded, to DDG's comment, to me it was valid. I feel like when DDG responded and he said, "Oh, I meant it this way," it was more so towards the people who aspire to be greater and get to higher heights as far as being their own boss. I understand what he means. It wasn't to condemn, it wasn't to judge anyone who wants to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of their life, but to talk to the specific people who do want to get to their own boss status. And I feel like if he would have made that clearer on the podcast, as far as saying, "Oh, now instead of saying you should only work a 9 to 5 for this, that, and the third," he should have said that if you aspire to be your own boss, you should use your 9 to 5 to level up. I definitely think he should have took the time to have thought about that statement clearly. But I got what he meant, and I feel like that is a important message, for people who are starting off at a 9 to 5. I made an episode about that on my podcast, how I use the 9 to 5 to get me closer to my dreams, that I know that 9 to 5 is not my forever goal, and that wasn't to judge anyone who is working a 9 to 5, but if you see yourself being greater, being your own boss, you have to work that 9 to 5 in order to set yourself up for success in the future. But I just wanted to give my little 2 cents on that, so that's all for that segment for Trending Topics with TJ. There's plenty more to come. It's so crazy because on the segment that I just had, it kind of goes along with the lines of my episode, "What are you waiting on?" And when I say what are you waiting on, I'm meaning what are you waiting on as far as like, why are you waiting on someone else to give you an opportunity? Why are you waiting on someone to come knocking on your door to hand you something? In this generation, we are the new adults, and I am so blessed to be a new adult in this generation because we have access to so much freedom. We have so much access to being our own boss, setting our own trends, building our own lanes, and I think that is so important as new adults as we take that, grasp it, and run with it, and a lot of us are at different stages in our lives right now. Some people have went on to do the venture of marriage. Some people have went on to go and have kids. Some people are just, like myself, haven't done those things yet, and I said on another episode that just because we are all on different paths and doing different things, no one is ahead of anyone else. But I will say that if you are not married, if you don't have kids, then what are you really waiting on? What are you waiting on as far as like chasing your dreams, putting that step forward to finally get to the place that you want to be, and I feel like a lot of the times we end up waiting because that's what we're told to do. We're told to wait, we're told to sit, we're told to be patient, and there's nothing wrong with being in your waiting season and sitting, but I feel like faith without work is dead. Faith without work is dead. You have to put in some type of action to get some type of reaction. I feel like doing instead of waiting is important, and that was me right now, literally. And I love to tell this story because it is a important story to my life, and I feel like eventually when I get to a certain point in my life, the story is going to be even more meaningful. But here it is. So when I graduated college, once again, I had already said that I wanted to do X, Y, and Z. I was going to apply to these different jobs, and it was something that happened whenever I was applying to these jobs. I was getting feedback basically saying that, "Oh, well, whenever you get to these jobs, you're going to have to start from the ground up. You're going to have to start from the ground up, give them some years, and then you'll get to the point that, the company wants you to get at." And, that just didn't sit right with me. And, I guess in that moment, that was when I realized that I need to be my own boss. And not to say that I don't mind starting from the ground up, but it was something that I really wasn't even passionate about. So it's like, why would I start from the ground up for something that I'm not even passionate about? And and it was just like, there are so many ways for me to go ahead and put my own self out there aside from these jobs, aside from, and not to say these jobs are paying less than my hours at Walgreens. So it was just definitely a lot that I was going to have to sacrifice. And I feel like with us being young and, like I said, not married, no kids, none of that stuff, it's more so like I don't want to give so many years to a company just for me to get to however high they want me to get to, so I took charge. I grabbed it on my own, and I was like, you know what, TJ, like, you have the skills, you know what to do. It's like, go ahead and do it on your own. And so, as everyone knows, I went to school to be somewhat of a news reporter. And I did it very well. I did great things while I was in college. I hosted a red carpet premiere for a movie that was filmed in my hometown. I was able to be on a national broadcasted news streaming service. It was a whole lot of things that happened to me that I knew that was nothing but God, and that He was setting me up for success, and so it's so crazy just looking at the individual in those videos, whether it's me interviewing someone, whether it's me talking in front of a camera, whether it's me, doing what I know God has called me to do. And it's like, it doesn't talent. It's honestly a natural given talent, and I know that is my natural given talent, to speak, to talk, to be in front of the camera. That is my natural given talent. And so it's more so like, I'm gonna go ahead and apply to these jobs, see what happens. And the feedback, like I said, that I got, it made me pivot my decision and say, no, you know what, I'm not gonna do that. That's not what I want to do. And I feel like a lot of times we have to follow our heart, and our heart will never lead us wrong. But sometimes when we put our heart over our mind, that's whenever it gets a little foggy. But your heart is not wrong, and that was me. I had to go ahead and say, TJ, okay, you don't want to do this. If you are gonna go ahead and do it, it's not because that you want to, it's because you're gonna be people pleasing everybody else. And I am so over the people pleasing. I made an episode about that, over the people pleasing, over all of that. So I took charge on my own. I said, you know what, TJ, you can go ahead and put your own stuff out there. You can have your own show, you can have your own guest, that you interview, and you're still doing the same things that you would have been doing over here at this job. I may not be getting paid for it quite yet. I may not have all the guests in the world that I want to have on the on the episode or on my show. I may not even have that many listeners, that many subscribers, but it's about taking charge of your own destiny, your own opportunities. Why are you waiting on someone else to say, okay, now you can go? We have free will. And like I said, this generation of new adults, we're so brave, we're so ready to go ahead and take charge, so take charge, go ahead and start that business, go ahead and start that podcast, do it, instead of waiting. There is nothing holding you back. If you don't have kids, you're not married, or even if you have kids and you're married, I feel like that a lot of times whenever we have titles, whether it's mother, father, son, titles, we lose ourselves within those titles. You become only a mother, you become only a father, you become only this, only that. But at the end of the day, you are all you have. In this lifetime, when it's all said and done, you have to speak on your actions, how you lived your life. How do you want to live your life? If being a mother, if that is what brings you joy, happiness, then that's perfectly fine. But if there is something that is still missing from that piece, from that puzzle, then you need to find that within yourself, and you need to go ahead and take charge, and nothing should be holding you back. Sometimes, everyone's circumstances are different. Mothers who take care of their kids, sometimes alone, they don't have any help. Of course you can't give your all to your dreams, Kayet, but definitely, whether it's 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, I told myself that if you do something consistently every single day, every week, it's automatically going to get perfected. Because you're practicing, you're constantly practicing. And even me, like, I didn't even realize how, like I said in a previous episode, I can watch episode 1 to now 15 and realize there's so much of a difference. There's so much of a difference in my confidence, how I speak, how I do my podcast. And it's because I've been practicing and doing it, not even realizing that I was getting better at it. And that's just because I took the chance, grabbed my own opportunity, and I'm here for the long ride. I really am. So I'm just going to continue to just keep doing what I'm doing. I want y'all to keep doing what y'all are doing. And like I said, it's no specific rush. I don't want y'all to feel rushed, but I just want y'all to take advantage of this time frame that we are in as new adults. That we have all the access in the world to be what we want to be, and you shouldn't have to wait on someone to give you an opportunity. Go ahead and look into, if you want to start that clothing business, go ahead and look into other clothing lines. See how they do it. Any little thing that you are giving into your dream and giving into what you want to accomplish, it's something. It doesn't have to be major steps. It doesn't have to be big steps. Every little step counts. It's getting you closer and closer and closer. So take those baby steps if necessary, but take the step. That's all I'm saying, is take the step. Don't wait for an opportunity. Don't wait for someone to come knocking at your door saying go. Go now on your own. You can do it. You have You have a God that's on your side. You have supporters. Hey, if no one else supporting you, I'm supporting you. I'm supporting you. You know, I saw a post. It was like Coca-Cola sold 25 bottles their first time selling. Coca-Cola, y'all. Coca-Cola sold 25 bottles. Do y'all realize how worldwide Coca-Cola is now? Do you think that if when they first started selling and they only sold 25 bottles, that if they would have stopped, where would we be? You know, probably a little healthier, but we'll be without Coca-Cola. And that just goes to show you that when you first start, it's not going to be certain. You know, you're going to feel a little uncertain about it because you may not have all the support in the world. You may not have everybody watching. You may not be selling that many items, but it's about how you get over those hurdles. You know, when me starting this podcast, I talked about this to a class. I spent so much money on this equipment, on just my everything. You know, I spent over. I don't even want to. I said it already. I spent over $2,000 on just equipment for me to sit in my room and talk. You know, and it sounds crazy to some people because it's like, ooh, like you know what I could do, $2,000, and it's like, yeah, you know, I definitely could have did X, Y, and Z with $2,000, but I have a dream, I have a passion, and like I said, if I'm gonna choose to not go down the route of what they 9 to 5, Lord, hate to even bring up that statement. If I'm gonna choose to not go in the route that everyone wants me to go in, I have to make sure that if I'm going down this route, I have to be ready, I have to be willing, and I have to put in the work, whether that's in my pockets, because let me tell y'all gotta invest. You have to invest in yourself. You know, I know that I'm saying that you don't wait for opportunity to come, but with not waiting for opportunity comes with a lot of sacrifices. Whether it's your money, whether it's your time, you know, whether it's your, you know, your mental. You know, I feel like a lot of the times that we don't talk about how mentally draining it is starting from the bottom on your own. You know, starting from the bottom on your own is so mentally draining because it's a constant battle in your head of like, oh Lord, okay, now who am I doing this for? Why am I doing it? Should I have did this? You know, it's so many questions because they're human. And since we're so young and since we are new adults, we don't have all the answers. You know, we're just kind of going through the motions. And I just want to let y'all know that there is confirmation in everything that you do. If you look around, if you just look around, there's confirmation in everything that you do. And you have to look closely and take those blinders off, open your eyes to the real world, and realize, okay, this is a confirmation that I'm going in the right direction. If you know me, you know I love Tyler Perry. You know I love Tyler Perry. I love his story. I love everything that about him, that how he has gotten from being homeless, being molested as a child, to being one of the greatest entertainers, directors, writers, studio owners, you know, of this generation. It's literally mind blowing to me. Like, I definitely want to work with him one day, and I'm gonna manifest that. Like, if you're looking at this Tyler Perry one day, or if you're looking at this later, TJ in the future, you will work with Tyler Perry, and I'm gonna manifest that. I've been manifesting it. I'm gonna continue to manifest it. But his story is so wonderful because he talks about how when he first started making his plays, he didn't sell not one ticket his first play. He didn't sell not one ticket his first play. His mom, he came home. His mom was like, "Boy, you gotta stop with them plays." Like just kind of talking down on his dreams, you know. But Tyler Perry had a vision. He had a goal. He knew the visions that God had gave him, you know, and he took his own opportunity into his own hands. I'm pretty sure he paid for the set, the costumes, everything himself, the workers, you know, everybody, everything himself. Then when he really didn't even have it, Lord have mercy, God, when he really didn't even have it, to get to the point now he has more than enough. Megan Good did an interview and she said that is the most she's ever gotten paid by someone. Do you know how big that is? To go from your low beginnings and having faith and taking your own opportunity into your own hands, your own dreams into your own hands, doing it, staying at it, and, you know, leveling up as he, you know, continues to do it, from plays to movies to just TV shows to everything, you know. And like I said, him having his own studio, so not only is he making his own stuff, but he's making his own stuff on his own set. Like, it's just amazing to me, and it just goes to show that taking your own opportunity into your hands is not easy. It won't be easy at the beginning, you know, but doing it. And I feel like if I was to talk to Tyler Perry right now, he would say, that he's definitely glad that he made the decisions that he made, that he did it while he could, he did it when he could. I think he was 30 at the time, so he was still a new adult, and I feel like he still didn't have all the answers. He was still figuring it out, but he just kept at it, kept it going, and look at where it got him. And that is motivation for me. You know, I definitely feel like that. Me right now, I'm still just starting from the ground up. Still starting from the ground up. This is month 5 of my podcast. Yeah, month 5 of my podcast. That's so crazy. And yeah, like I haven't even made a year yet. I haven't even made the season 2 yet. And it's just like I just see so much greatness, you know, ahead, whether it's with my podcast, my career, everything. And, you know, I'm glad I took my opportunity into my own hands. And I encourage y'all to do the same. So that's all for this episode, guys. I'm so grateful for you guys. I thank y'all so much for tuning in to yet another episode. I want y'all to tell me in the comments how y'all feel about the segment, how y'all feel about DDG's statement. Was he right? Was he wrong? How do y'all feel? Let me know in the comment about my episode. How do y'all feel about what are you waiting on? Are y'all ready to go ahead and make that step? Talk to me, okay? Like I said, you can now listen to this podcast on Apple Music Podcast. I'm gonna put the link below. Boop, 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 boop. Apple Music Podcast at We're the New Adults. And you can continue to look at all my episodes on YouTube at We're the New Adults. Follow my Instagram at We're the New Adults. And follow my main page, tj.prodigy. I want to thank y'all again, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.